So with the Diddy update, so who else? Who's testified so far? Then I just for a little.
Okay, so it's been the makeup, the stylist for Cassie. His name is Dante. Yeah, we've had Capricorn Clark as well. There was the arson investigator.
Okay.
That just as an official, I always find the official guy's testimonies really dry, so we don't even need to focus on that. And then I would say it's Capricorn Clark, Dante, and then the person who is being named Mia. They have been the big three witnesses that have pushed the case along in some regards, or some people think Mia has held the case back in some way because her credibility is being questioned, and she has been doxxed as well, which I think is a huge shame. But her name is floating around out there. We ain't got to share it, but if anybody wants to know, you can find it on Twitter. It's there. Okay.
So this is based on Mia's testimony.
No, I think this is Capricorn Clark. She is the ex-assistant who said that she was kidnapped.
Okay, we want to go to Mia's testimony. I think Capricorn Clark has been spoken out. Mia. Farah, have you been up to date on it?
Well, did you know about Capricorn Clark from before? I didn't actually know who she was or anything. I had no idea that she was like known in the industry and had been so heavily blackballed. It didn't fit in my world at all.
No, I didn't know either. All right, let's.
There's a woman called I'm Not a Lawyer, but
after
of it as well.
I was trying to go without the opinion. Yeah, I've watched I'm Not a Lawyer as well. I was trying to get the opinion-less perspective. But
the news rundown. I would have looked where you had the same ones as me for 2 weeks in a row. I didn't bother going finding it this week.
Yeah, so I was just like, I'm overwhelmed. But anyway, this is this is Capricorn Clark again, isn't it? Then if it's a personal assistant, because Mia was a personal
woman
assistant.
Here. This is why it's not fair. She isn't supposed to be. I don't think if she's saying I don't want people to know who I am, just because you didn't draw her face, giving us her hair color is basically letting us know who she is.
Yeah, they've been saying that
illustration is unnecessary, but she's out there. This is Mia. This is Mia. I understand.
A former personal assistant to Sean Diddy Combs described through tears how he repeatedly sexually assaulted her. Today, the woman testifying under the pseudonym Mia was back on the stand. Combs' defense attorney Brian Steele grilling Mia and showing the jury more than a dozen effusive social media posts where she called Combs her mentor and said that she loved him. Steele asking Mia, "You're calling the person who assaulted you your mentor?" Mia responding, "Yes." Mia later testifying, "Instagram was to show how great your life is, even if it wasn't true, and I didn't want my family and friends to know the misery I was in." Steele also asking her about a scrapbook and card she gave to Combs for his 45th birthday. Steele reading the card in court, "I hope it reminds you of when this world made your eyes light up," she wrote. "I love you forever." "That's a loving card," Steele said. Mia replying, "I'm a loving person." "The person who sexually abused you?" Steele asked. Mia responding, "Yes."
The defense's job is to try to attack this witness's credibility.
Earlier in the day, Mia testifying about the conditions during the 8 years she worked for Combs. She said at one point, "He threatened to kill me." But during cross-examination, Steele presented a text Mia sent after she was ultimately let go. "I'm going to kill myself. My life is over," she wrote. "I'm so heartbroken, I can't breathe." Combs has pled not guilty to all charges. President Trump today asked if he would consider pardoning Combs if he's found guilty.
I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Lester, we're expecting Mia back on the stand on Monday, and then we're going to be hearing from a hotel custodian and then a forensic video expert.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the
about the cross-examination and the questions that they're asking. It's like they forget what happens when you're a victim of something. You don't just automatically switch off and be like, or not, don't have any involvement in that person, because it's a complicated relationship, isn't it? Anyone that's been abused, you have a complicated relationship with your abuser. It takes time and therapy and lots of work on yourself to actually turn around and be like, this person was an abuser. I don't actually want to have anything to do with them again. And then, she said on the stand that when she wanted to leave previously, he threatened to blackball her and would tell employees that you're never going to work again. So what are you going to do? You're never going to work again. He said that. He's abusing you whilst you're there. most people who are being abused want to pacify the abuser to make their life a little bit easier. So therefore, they do things to please them. It's not unknown. I obviously understand the defense has to say certain things, but it shouldn't affect what people think of her credibility. Because if he's an abuser, you're going to sometimes be like, I'm trying to just keep the peace.
Yeah. I don't know why this has been so hard for folks to understand, but I'm truly surprised at the amount of people who I thought were intelligent and would be able to see this quite clearly for what it is. From her testimony, with the prosecution actually going through everything that had taken place, and her talking about, it was two people that she mentioned, Capricorn Club as well, and another staff member who went up against Diddy, especially where it came to Cassie, and were like advocating for Cassie, and lost their jobs and didn't have a job again. So it's like this, you would be able to see, she's witnessed this. She's his right hand. She knows what he said to flipping HR that got them their jobs destroyed, and what he puts out there. She's around him all the time. There was times where she couldn't leave rooms, where he would be like, you can't go anywhere. Like, you have to be here. You can't lock your door.
She didn't sleep for 5 days.
Sleep deprived. You're scared, and you would be like, if I do altruistic, really nice things for him on Insta, on socials, I may get an easy ride next week or the next month. Like, I think this is all very easy ABC steps. Really, it's not like, oh my God, no, she's a liar. Why would she be lying?
I think
have proof of the sexual assault. I get that, but who is going to really, unless it was caught on camera, it's going to be your words and the events, and we just got to see if we believe you on that. But I think her testimony was still powerful, actually. Just the relentless working. Take away all the other bits. The relentless working, saying do this, do that, no, don't do that, and stalking, is she demonstrated that.
But I think this is the problem with why I got fatigued with even watching all the kind of the opinion-led commentary, because it is, I think as Cher said, the commentary channels play a big factor in public opinion, and the jury isn't sequestered. So it's very interesting that they didn't sequester them. So they are, and I know they have rules like do not do this and do not do that, but human nature, you can't trust humans not to human. And I think in some of the opinion commentators, they are saying there's a couple of jurors where you start to see certain jurors' reactions, personalities, how they're internalizing the information that's being served to them. Some of them are kind of indignant. Some of them are expressing their disbelief. So you're seeing all of this. You're feeding this back to the pub. It's all a bit. It's very confusing, and it's diluting the facts at hand. And as you both absolutely said, understanding the trauma of a victim of abuse is absolutely key. And I guess we're getting these pieces of opinions to know that how are they actually feeling in that, and is it actually coming across in that way? As you said, that do you not understand how trauma victims behave and how to protect them? I remember these girls were young; they were in their 20s, and yes, different scenarios require different perspective on how mature you are. But if you're in the position of power at 20, who the fuck knows how you would resist a Diddy and the way that Diddy acts? From the fact that man was ready to beat up Cassie at a party, a Prince's party in public. The fact that this man was allegedly allowed Mia to stand there with time of the month dripping down her legs while she was letting her, get on with her days, then berating her because that's happening. Those are the things that that has to stick in your mind. What type of monster is this guy? But again, it is the defense's job to tear down any witness and make sure that they are credible, because that to be absolutely, fair, I guess, to what the defense is doing, they have to prove that someone, because they could, in the worst case scenario, they could be lying. So no,
I understand it. I totally get that, but it's like for me, you're not doing a very good job if your argument is, well, why would you write him this letter?
Yeah,
if he abused you, why would you write him this letter? Because that's how abuse works. That's why. That's how it works.
It totally is. And it's so understandable, even when she was saying, I was going to take this to the grave.
Yes.
Yes, most people would be like, he has my dreams at the palm of his hands. Like, she wanted to be an exec. Literally, she wanted to be making programs and films. He's like, yeah, I kind of like that too. Yeah, you can head that department. That's my dream. Somebody handing me my dream
at 20
And
something.
they are giving me nightmares as well. But I'm gonna have my dream. You're gonna be sticking it out to the point where I'm gonna get big enough where, not to say I'm gonna be on the same level as Diddy, but I'm going to get up high enough where he can't do that to me anymore. That's going to be a huge motivator. And I wanted people to also add in the nuance of being the only white person in that space as well, and being a white woman in that space. I think she totally played, and we all know them. I am absolutely nice. I am the nicest person. I am so non-threatening. Like, I will do whatever you want for you. I am down for the culture. All of her words were giving me, we know that woman.
Yeah.
And we know that man. Like, we know that white person that is in the crew that is literally like, I'm really cool, guys. I'm really cool. And I love, and it's like, that's all she was trying to do, was literally be like, I love you so much. I'm not going to go against you. I'm really loyal. You don't need to hurt me type of vibe was what I was getting from her. I was like, yeah.
And from that,
and the thing that you've got to remember is as well, I can't remember if this is what they said, that the reason why she's allowed for her name not to be out there is because she hasn't brought a civil case towards him.
Yeah.
So therefore, like, it's not like she's up here saying this for any benefit. She's not getting anything out of this. Go on, sorry.
I finished, sorry.
No, that's all I was really going to say. Like, it's not like there's a financial gain for her to do this.
They were saying, I think that's before the defense came in and allegedly destroyed her words, was that's what made her even a stronger candidate, because she hadn't sought any type of retribution from Diddy. So that the fact that she hasn't done a case against him, she's just here speaking and telling her truth. That at the first is why she was like the slam dunk surprise great witness, but then the defense did what they did. And also, it's interesting that you touched on her being a white woman, Nana, because also Diddy's behavior, and again, it's that thing where you think you can overpower someone because of their whiteness as well, as she's a white woman in this space, so I'm going to take advantage of you. There could be that very warped mentality that some black men have when it comes to overpowering the white daughter of the white oppressor that they're always running from or trying to be like. All of those underlying subconscious race play madnesses that could be going through his psyche as well. So she was in a very vulnerable position, and coming into it maybe from a position of privilege and power, thinking seemingly so, because I am a white woman in this space, why I'm going to get lauded and put on a pedestal. When you're dealing with someone who's a monster, that goes away and it becomes your Achilles heel in a sense, because they are going to actually even more so go into dominating you in a different type of way, which is also unfair and disgusting. And then, her saying that she had to live in his space. So again,
they had to live there. He wasn't allowed a lock on her door. He was like, "This is my house. I'm going to come and go as I please."
Can you imagine that? Crumbs.
That's so scary.
Crumbs.
But he seemed to do that with everybody and their phones. That it's like, you can't have another phone. He is going to provide your phone. So basically, he owns your phone. He owns your car. He owns where you're going to live. And so in that time, and then he doesn't even pay you a lot, and he doesn't pay you anything. But you have access. It's like being on the precipice of greatness, though. It's like you have so much access, but it's all, he can just, like that, on his whim, on his desires, remove all of that from you. And then basically, in order for you to get anything, you have to sue him. So it's like she had to go to an employment tribunal and get some money from him. Like, he doesn't pay right, and he'll sack you for anything, just insubordinate. Like, what are you talking about? Because you can't, you're not aiding and abetting him treating Cassie like a prisoner, then you're going to lose your job. And can we imagine how many other people, it's like in small ways, or he was like, nah, that person's not good for Cassie, or that person could influence Cassie in the wrong way, and so they lost their job.
But also, on that note, there's two things I wanted to say. There was an opinion that I appreciated was that the reason what needs to be really break through the perspective of the jury is that we have this thing when we look from the outside looking in, that the industry is tough, that it has to be tough, that you have to be able to withstand it. So that's like the Making a Band, Pop Idol, the talent shows, when you're a ballerina and they break you and then they build you up, like Black Swan, the film. And then also Devil Wears Prada glorifies the bitch boss or bad boss. And then you have to go through the the trials of fire before you come out on the other end to see that you've learned so much and now you're great. So there's all of that. You have to actually say this is not normal. What has been normalized by the creative industry or in industry and business, it is not normal. You don't have to have a devil wears Prada boss in order to learn from the best, in the quotes, and then become a great person. That is not actually true, and that needs to be destroyed. And secondly, the amount of celebrities that I think that have come out in these testimonies that saw what was going on and didn't say anything. I think John Lennon was mentioned. I think Pharrell was mentioned. Lauren London was mentioned. So again, saying allegedly, I don't know what they saw, what they didn't, but their names have come up, and it's seeming like the only very notable celebrity that did something was Prince, when he said, "Not in my house," and made his security stop Diddy chasing Cassie around his party.
Yeah,
crazy.
Which is
people also say, go on.
Wait.
It was a not.
Wait. Thank you, Strike. What did you say before? Quincy Jones was spilling tea and talking about people like Andre Harrell and Aaron Hall, the same people that taught Diddy. Yes, Quincy Jones started talking.
Yes, he was ready to be like, I'm going to share it all, but also knows that he has kids and like you can't say too much.
Yeah,
because you're vulnerable. You have a family. What was I going to say? There was another thing. I can't remember now. There was a thing about the party.
I was going to say about the Prince thing and Prince's security stopping Diddy from doing stuff, like, and why some people didn't stop Diddy from doing things. On a couple of people who took the stand, I think Mia was actually one who said that when people would try to interject, the security would beat you down.
Yeah.
So like, if you got involved, the security wouldn't touch Diddy, and they wouldn't get involved in that. But if you got involved, the security would then turn on you. So if you see things like that, what are you going to do? And it's all well and good for us to be like, oh well, these people could have stopped him. For all we know, maybe these people then stopped interacting with him. If you know someone's a monster, we don't know, innit? Maybe if you know someone's a monster, maybe then what you do is you just disassociate yourself from that person.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That
was it. It was actually why Diddy flew off the handle. He had said that he was going to be spending time with his kids, and so Cassie thought it would be okay to go to the party because Diddy ain't even around. He's spending time with his children. Lo and behold, Diddy pops up at the same party. So it's that whole you're lying as well. Like they're also trying to paint like Cassie was a bit sneaky, and it's like, no, how can Cassie be the one who is locked up and she can't even have her own phone, like it's Diddy's phone and he goes through her phone. Mm-hmm. Diddy has various women that we've all seen him with, but somehow Cassie is the shark in this.
Exactly. Yeah, that part is crazy. But this is why I've said before, those who don't want to talk, well, speak out, sure. But then it is like, what do I know from what I don't know? I've got rumors. I'm not going to speak on it. I don't want to have my name brought up on it. So if I'm asked questions about it, I'm not saying a thing because there's a lot of stuff that you just don't want to be associated. You don't want to be Googled. Because right now, Pharrell, the other people that I mentioned on London.
I know Michael B. Jordan is pissed off.
Exactly. And if he was asked on the red carpet, what do you think about Diddy? I'm saying nothing. I don't want to be associated. And that's what I always go back to when I think we're talking about LL Cool J. There's certain people that are just like, I do not want to be associated.
No, but what we was talking about with the LL Cool J thing was the video of Cassie being beat down. It's not the rest of all of this stuff. It was that.
I get it, but it's like this. It's same people that, as you're saying, that in the room, like we might get beaten up, You don't know. And if you are like we know how deep Diddy behaves. So do you know what? Let me not have his name in my mouth in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying nothing. It's just all of them.
Okay, so what about then? Capricorn Clark was speaking about going to Interscope and having a meeting with Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine was named at being at one of the dinners that Cassie was punched in the stomach at, and Usher was there. Now you go and have a meeting with Jimmy Iovine. That meeting is for you to get a job, and all he is saying is you need to leave Diddy alone and not carry on with this suing him type of shit. Like this ain't gonna end well for you. He is complicit in this, in like using Diddy as some crime boss. You're going for a job, And it's literally like the next person, he ain't even talking about the job. He's saying you need to leave his basic rival or his best friend, I don't know, alone. That's a wild state. You'd be disoriented because there is only 5 places for you to get any jobs. And if nobody is hiring because of Diddy, where do you go? That's your industry.
And it's the fact that Jimmy Iovine's name hasn't come out more in this. For that being said, I think that point was dismissed. That they struck it off the transcript, so they can't add that as part of the whoever's on testimony. They had that struck. The defense were lucky to get that off because that part needs to be explored too. And then when we look at record labels run by white people who are in our culture and the things that they will allow just to make money, all those things, it's a problem.
Yes. As Will Smith says, Jimmy Iovine, the man who made Dr. Dre, who brutalized K. Michelle and beat up D-Barn, is a millionaire. But a billion. Isn't he a billion now? Dr. Dre. I swear he's close. Or he's close to that club.
Yeah.
We know he is a sicko as well. It's like Jimmy Iovine also has other things with artists and him being a sick individual. But it's the packs. That's what I'm talking about. It's like the CEOs. It's like Desiree included. Like Rock Nation is so powerful. If you all move in a pack to be like nobody can really infiltrate and we can use people however we want to use them, they all need to be taken down.
I think we don't want a performance. If you're going to talk. I don't care. I don't need lip service. I don't need thoughts and prayers. If you're going to talk and you know the industry, talk properly. I don't give a damn what people say. Talk the truth because everybody's complicit at this point. Even if you saw it and you felt like you're going to get beaten up and you never said anything. And I'm not going to say that I would be someone that would say something. Who knows? Because you also are trying to mind your own business in this space, knowing how insidious and incestuous it is. As an artist, I might have seen something. I might have seen Diddy running after Cassie. What the fuck am I going to do? Maybe I'm going to go.
They all. I feel like they all tried. Even Deontay, like jumping on Diddy's back, and I did absolutely love his testimony. All of the people that was reading it, I think Oman Wiggins did like a brilliant job in just encapsulating what he was like on the stand. But he was there, still trying to live his life, and Diddy was telling him not to go out places.
What? Thank you, John. The Diddy channel with all the celebs hobnobbing at 3 parties are on YouTube. Where are they now? Are they all gone? Are they all been scrubbed?
You can find a few bits and pieces where, you know, folks are always recording whatever was uploaded on the celebrities channel. Like you can see more of that. But on his channel, it is very sanitized to painting Diddy as like a family guy. So most of the videos that he would do with the twins and his sons and dancing, selling Ciroc, that type of stuff is still on his channel. But the parties, they're gone. Sometimes you can find some blogs though, because at that time people were blogging. So all of the pictures and who was there. Yeah, they must have seen some stuff because there's account of him punching her in a corner at a party. It's like people were seeing shit going on.
Saw stuff. People absolutely saw stuff. But, you know, there's so many celebrities, unfortunately, that do that shit. People saw Russell Simmons do shit. People have seen stuff, but it's whether or not they're talking about it. But what I did think personally about this week's the people that were on the stand, I think it cemented more of the RICO case. Because everyone was like, why are we talking about Cassie? This is domestic violence. Because they're setting the scene. And obviously, because the woman was about to give birth, she had to be first. But someone else was making a good point because they were saying to be a RICO case, it needs more than one person. But if you notice that Diddy is called defendant number 1. That's what they were saying. He's not the defendant. It's defendant number 1. So there's obviously more people, and sometimes you don't necessarily know about it at this stage. So, you know, I really think the prosecution did a good job this week with kind of like building the foundations of why this is a RICO case and not just a regular old case.
I think so. Like everybody's labor laws most definitely seem to be corroborated and abused. So that in itself, that they're all working, is that they still, all of them, and then the security. D-Rock and Ruben being named numerous times, and Uncle Paulie in facilitating you can't go here. We are coming for you. You need to go back. Answer the phone to Diddy now. All of this stuff is basically, it's a racket. It's a racket. It's an enterprise. And then the buying various stuff under all of Diddy's business accounts. Like, he wasn't even clean enough to like siphon it through like his mum's accounts. Like, why are you doing like Bad Boy Records is purchasing this? Bad Boy Records is having this hotel. Like, you would think he would have been a little bit slicker.
And this is the exposure that these guys think they're big mafia bad boy bosses, no pun intended. But yet you don't even know you don't know the finer details. And it's not, I'm not advocating to like be, if you're going to do crime, do it great. But if you're going to do crime, really study the fucking game and watch the people that you're pretending to be like. Because everyone that's got Scarface at the top on their poster, Scarface died in a hail of bullets.
Yeah, okay. But I think Diddy, and not even just him, I think a lot of these people really believe that they're untouchable.
Yeah,
because they've ingratiated themselves with, you know, people who aren't necessarily famous in the same sort of way, but they're powerful underground. So you don't know their names because they're in that world. They think that they are also untouchable.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. So, you know, there's certain things he's not going to do because it's like, well, who's going to come for me?
Let's get some comments.
Bissy was saying this for tax purposes. All the big crime is done via business accounts. Interesting. Joe says, Homeboy was talking about not throwing stones, laughing my ass off. He was hiding in plain sight.
In regards to the interview with Chris Brown when he was defending having Chris Brown over after the Rihanna incident.
All of those guys that were advocating for Rihanna to go back to Chris Brown, I think all of them, we need to start seeing them all with fresh eyes as well. But also, who was it that was? Somebody said, can't remember what I was watching now, but they were like Fat Joe could be next.
Oh, I know that Big Pun. I swear that Big Pun had alleged domestic violence.
He was an abuser. It's well known. He was.
Was he?
He was a heinous abuser to his wife. Heinous. Yeah, awful.
Oh.
So, Sleepful Peace says we haven't talked much about the police in the trial because obviously they were turning a blind eye, and they had people on his payroll. That's allegedly they had police officials on his payroll, and that's it. You've got a few people on your payroll and you think you're moving like a big mob boss. It's just like delusions of grandeur. Like, come on.
You know what was a big thing in the case that just pissed me off that it got sustained was the prints actually on the arson container that didn't go off Cuddy's car. So when the arson guy is talking about the investigation of it and literally the prints were sent off to the LAPD and to be discarded. And I was literally like, why has that been sustained? No, that's important information. Why is it that this and he's saying I weren't even told about it, that it was going to be, that sounds like you have somebody on the inside. Most definitely. Like, how can we even get around that? I've sent prints off. He said he doesn't even usually get prints because it's arson usually, so there aren't any evidence like that. But I've managed to get partial prints. I send it to the labs, and then the information is destroyed. Yeah. And he has somebody on the inside where there is numerous accounts of people saying, Diddy would say, if anything happens to you, call for this dude on the LAPD and it will get raised. And sometimes, and then even Capricorn saying, it just speeding stuff. When you mention Diddy or they saw Diddy in the car, the police would just leave him alone.
Yeah.
Like fangirling or something. Yeah, he had various people.
Absolutely. There's too many things that have happened for him not to. Even like, didn't his son get done for speeding or something happened with Justin? Not Justin. Justin. Not Christopher. What happened with Justin? Where's that gone? Where did that? You know, what was the end of that? But we definitely got people on the inside.
We definitely have that thing. That again, it's the Hollywood of it all, and the film world of it all. That we've all bought into this facade of like, or an assumption where we think we know what it's like to be in Hollywood. We assume that, you know, once you're a certain level of celebrity, you're going to get off. You've got the police in your pocket. You can just call up the police chief and say, so it's going to ruin my career. Let's hide it. So we assume that already. So everyone falls into line everyone's just living that Hollywood movie stereotype and
But then
roles, and it just doesn't make any sense. But that's what's been allowed and assumed, and every so often the matrix glitches and someone gets pulled out of it back into reality.
But I think what is important to understand with Diddy is that he has projected this Hollywood lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not him. Yeah. If you really look at who he surrounds himself with, like D-Rock, for example, who, you know, where he's come from, what little we know about his dad and what his dad did and where his dad, yes, his mum pulled him out of that environment, but we don't really know what else he was up to. You know, this for all we know, this is Diddy's lifestyle, and he's just got famous. There's so many famous people, like John Gotti was a fucking mob boss, and he was out there doing fame. You know, what's his name? Pablo Escobar, him too. Like sometimes they get to a point, and I'm not saying Diddy's on their levels at all. I'm not saying that, but you know, sometimes they get to a point where they feel like, well, I'm going to be famous.
But it's that glorification of it, because also those mob bosses still get done. They still get caught out. They still have the same kind of situations where they're too flamboyant. They don't know how to hide in plain sight. They're too flamboyant. They get delusions of grandeur, and they think they're untouchable. And then one day they get caught down. And this is the thing: is these are your role models, as they say. But these people, mob bosses, there may be one or two that might live their life, but usually at the end of the day, mob bosses die in a hail of bullets or behind bars. It happens. But
that is the racket. That literally is the racket. But as people in the chat are saying, Strike 22 is like, wasn't the mayor of New York exposed as being a part of all this Diddy stuff? He is the guy that gave Diddy the key to the city. He is the one that they were trying to take down, and he had to do a deal with Trump to be pardoned because he was going to get locked up just last year as well. They're all in it together, and then you do have like the Perez, Desiree, like that. She was a part of a drugs ring, bringing in lots of cocaine and did a deal, like literally mob boss level types of stuff. But now you're running Rock Nation, like they're all corrupt in so many different ways. It's like, no, I know Jay-Z is trying to do like, we weren't the two Seans, but you two were the two Seans at one stage.
You were the two Seans. Everybody Diddy would say that the only person that calls me Sean is Sean. So let's come on. Don't try to.
Everyone is calling him Sean as well.
Dissociate yourself now.
No, they're all connected in too much ways.
That's that thing of like, I don't know, like bringing the crime to, like, you can't leave the crime alone. You've got to bring it into your business enterprise. That mentality is so weird. The glorification of what we glorify. Will Smith said that was the significance of the first witness hotel security testifying. Did he try to charm and bring him? That was the first witness. I think someone else
said about Trump, surprise, surprise, Trump's involved or always talking. And it's true. Like, why is Trump even talking about Diddy? Like, shouldn't you be leading the country? You're talking about Diddy and saying if he's treated unfairly, even if he likes me or he doesn't like me, then I'll help him out. Like, whatever, innit?
Trump will buy exactly. Diddy will buy Trump. Like, I don't think if they put Diddy in, like, let's say Diddy, I really do hope they jail him. But I think towards the end, like before they go, like Joe Biden did for his son, on Trump's exit, so Diddy may have done 4 years inside, then he would pardon him. So he could. I do think I could see that happening for Diddy. And obviously, if you somehow siphon it into one of Diddy's businesses buys Trump's coins, and so you pay him 20 million that way, Trump will do that shit very easily. If he's selling citizenship for 5 mil now, Diddy can buy that dude. Diddy could buy his freedom. Definitely.
I think. I forgot what I was going to say. But it's telling what Trump said in that clip. He goes, "Well, I don't know even if he likes me or if he doesn't like me." All of that stuff. Like, do you even understand who Diddy is? You know that point where you perform for the cameras that you lot are brethren. But the fact that Trump was like, if he likes me or he doesn't like me, we'll see. It is all about money. But he doesn't even really rate who you are. He doesn't even rate who you are. And welcome, Dami J. She said, "Jay, thanks for being a moderator, and thank you, Yvonne, for doing your moderating as well. It's been quiet in the chat, so cool."
Hang on, let me get some of Christian James' points. Christian James says, "I just hope that the people and the women getting involved with his sons in the future think twice. If the daddy is trifling, allegedly, the kids likely are too." You know what? Christian's girl is beautiful. Christian also has a case, a
Yeah.
lawsuit against him for very similar to Diddy, and they were around a lot, especially Justin. There's videos and Justin's in big people's parties and he is 13 years old, walking about. Like,
yeah, he's had Justin around like a handbag.
Yeah, properly. The Sons, it's a bit scary. I know Misa is talking about I'm out here just to support my son, but I don't know.
It's very sad what's happened to Justin, because Justin was he was doing so well in football, American football, and then it's just like Diddy got it to him, and it's like you're just doing this shit. Like, what are you actually doing?
Yeah, exactly. What are you actually doing? Yes, Joe, in regards to Frank White, because that's how Biggie's character was. Like, Biggie characterized himself on Frank White.
That came from Biggie. Like, yeah, Frank White was the Biggie name, so it's a bit weird that Diddy's even using it as a alias.
It's what
so he has Frank Black and
he has Frank, and both. He was using both of them.
But even that is all of that.
It's strange. They say allegedly Cassie's firstborn is called Frankie. Is that weird?
No, it depends on who Frankie is to her, and what Frankie is.
Somebody else.
It could be somebody else.
Yeah, I really hope it has nothing to do. Like, I was like, oh, I don't even want that being out there. But this is the thing of public opinion. It's like they throw everything out about her. Like, they're really trying to totally discredit Cassie's reputation, and it's continuous. Everybody that comes up that then says, I witnessed this taking place with Cassie, they still try and kind of paint her as some party girl that was just out here, that was like just doing her thing. And it's literally like she couldn't even be in South Africa alone while you then parading Gina. You still had somebody that had to be with her. It's so weird.
22, and I think Joe said it. Yeah, we know. King of New York. We know. We have in our history, and that's what, because Biggie was the king of New York when it came to hip hop. That's the whole.
Yes, that's why he got it. He took the name.
Yeah, we got it. We know.